Hey everybody, this is Beowulf here. Push over my account to blue to YouTube because Facebook is not messing with me. They just upgraded their system and I can't get my key, stream key, whatever the hell that shit goes on. So it's like, what, screw it. I just go to YouTube. About time for change anyway, I guess. Today I want to go over some obvious things that we see, but we're afraid to admit it is happening. It's happening in front of us. We are actually Hey Scott, how you doing, bro? That we see that it's happening. We're afraid to admit it because we look as that we've said at one point that this couldn't happen, never could happen here, and we're seeing it. Long has it been an issue and a topic of how you actually create a um, a society which is have subservient individuals who serve their government, and the government basically makes slaves out of their constituents. And we see this happening slowly, daily, as we look at our news, not just mainstream media. That bullshit can go out the window. But when we actually talk to each other and we say, what, this is what's going on here, we're like, holy shit. But let me go through a new society and how it's created to be a anarchy, anarchy, or dictatorship, whatever you want to call it. I call it this: the people have lost control of their own government. I don't know what you want to put on it. I don't know what you want to call it. It doesn't make any difference to me. That is just basically what you're down to. The first one of these is healthcare. By destroying these things, you will create this new society. You mess with healthcare to where it costs so much for individuals to actually get their current healthcare or to get healthcare that they're dependent on the government for handouts to receive their health care. We know this for a fact because the fact is, during the Democratic debates, whenever they were televised, we saw every issue. We saw them for 45, 50 freaking minutes out of an hour long debate talk about their plan for health care. It's definitely an issue. And all their plans are designed to actually put you more in debt and have to charge, and they have to charge you, you're charged more for antibiotics, for your pills, for your health care, for whatever items you need to maintain your health. Now we have kind of lost track as why do we actually really pay account to our health care, because and why is it so? Well, we are supposed to be human beings. We are supposed to understand that, we're going to go sometime. We have many people to say, well, I'm going to take a pill, I can live forever, I can take this pill. Okay, it's not going to happen. So with that preface, we go into looking at it and we're looking for anything that comes up, any pill we can take, anything that we can take, any vaccination, whatever we can get to make us live longer. We're willing to pay a price for that. We're willing to pay a price for erectile dysfunction. If you can't, there's always a pill to solve it. Who does this benefit? Our big pharmaceuticals and government. Yes, they get their cut. And this is how the healthcare system totally affects the individual who walks around on mainstream. The main goal is to keep me healthy so I can keep going to work. I can keep getting my paycheck. Do you see where we're going with this? So that's just another tool they can use against you to make sure that you're subservient. Well, okay, well, you can't afford your health care. Guess what? We'll pay a portion of it for you. We'll put a loan on there, and we'll put a maximum limit on what healthcare you can provide. It. We all heard the stories, and it's happening right in front of us. Our healthcare system, whether you believe it's good or whether it's bad or whatever, they're looking to change it from what it actually is. We had Obamacare, but they're looking to change it to actually benefit big pharmaceuticals and keep us actually wanting to actually go to our government for help in this issue. The next issue we bring up with our healthcare goes along with the healthcare issue, but also poverty. It is very important to the elite, to the actually establishment, to keep individuals in poverty. This way, they can utilize this. They can utilize the situation because then they can start checking away at your freedoms and actually believing that you can actually come out of poverty. But then again, if you are living in a level of poverty, I mean, your kid's starving, you're starving, whatever, you're homeless or whatever, you'll do anything basically just to get yourself out of being in poverty. So the government's going to come in and say, you know what, well, we'll pay that bill off. We'll do this, whatever. You can do this for us. It's all smoke and mirrors, man. If you'll do this for us, then you know what, then, hey, we'll take off some of that loan, whatever. But they keep us in a state of poverty or the fear of poverty, that you will end up in poverty unless you follow these simple rules. Go along with that, we look at the debt situation. They keep you in debt because you're in your poverty. They keep you in debt so you can never work yourself out of this poverty level. So in other words, it's like you're going to keep working. You're working every damn day and you're paying to pay off your debt, which at 16 to 18%, guess what? You've been doing that shit forever. You're going to spend the rest of your life paying off your debt. The American people say, oh, screw it, I don't care. You know what? I'll just keep charging shit up and I'll just go get me another credit card or whatever. But when you look at your total debt of what you actually owe, you're like, holy shit, I am spending more than I make. And these have created my problems. Now I'm in a poverty level. I am actually in debt. I can't acquire any more new debt to pay for my health care, pay for I'm sick. And God forbid I had to take care of myself because I am out of work, because I get hurt on a job. I'm setting you up to fail right there. The next one when we go into this is gun control. Thank you, my favorite subject or whatever. And here's the reason why. I don't care which side of the aisle you're on, whether you believe in guns or you don't. That's not the issue. The issue is that it's just a form of keeping individuals from fighting, keep from being able to change their circumstance or protect what they currently own right now. Gun control is a deterrent to our government because it actually gives us a tool that we can actually say we can fight back, we will fight back, and they want to do everything possible to take away every means necessary that you have to resist. Start with gun control because that can do the most damage. And then the gun control laws will keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Pretty soon, you can't even have a damn BB gun. I'll put somebody's eye out with that shit. It's a never-ending struggle. We can't get our Supreme Court to make any decisions on gun control. We can't, or the gun laws that are being passed. We can't get our Senate and our House to actually agree upon what the gun control laws will be. But basically, the gun laws that they're proposing, it doesn't do anything to provide for safety. It doesn't do anything to keep these mass shootings from happening. It doesn't do anything except make them feel better because I passed this law, even though it's unenforceable, but I passed this law so I get votes. The gun control issue is basically being hung out to dry. Nobody in power wants to make a decision on it because the fact is, whichever way they go, they're going to get static one way or another, and they don't want to lose votes or they don't want to lose their power and their prestige that they have. So they keep quiet on it, and they do just enough on it just to get by, instead of making a final determination and realizing that the Second Amendment is there for a reason. Welfare. This is where we get down to the point to where, well, guess what? You can't provide for yourself. You can't provide for your family. You can't provide. So guess what? All these stack up to the fact is, you know what? You're going to need our help. We're going to give you welfare. We're going to give you a set number of checks. Only if you follow these rules here, we'll give you your check. So in other words, you're waiting on the first every month, and you're looking at, well, did I meet all the criteria so I can get my check? They make up the criteria. You have to go along with that criteria, even if the criteria that they put down in place is unlawful, it's unconstitutional. But to get your check, you have to actually abide by it. You have just given up your freedoms because the fact is you're allowing somebody else to tell you what to do, how to do it, whatever, just so you can get a paycheck. These things are out there, and they're actually where we're headed. I'm just bringing them to light. We go into next, education. Education is going to be geared toward our students, our youth that are feeling that, you know what, this is how the new normal is. We have to do these things. We have no rights. We have no right to, or if we'll ruin our whole careers if we speak up. If we get arrested for some reason, we will ruin our whole careers. We have to do what is taught from us, what the golden rule is taught to us, not by the Bible or our beliefs, but what other people tell us. And we are actually being educated to form into a line to everybody falls in to the categories that they're actually deemed necessary. Religion. This is the big one. It doesn't make a difference if you're atheist, if you're a Baptist, if you're a Mormon, if you're Amish, whatever, Hare Krishna, whatever you want to be. But your religion is going to be attacked. Why is religion such a big deal to our government when they want to know how we participate or not? Because the fact is that religion is a way that people can fight back. They believe in their religion. They believe in these things. They believe in Jesus Christ or whatever you guys believe in. I'm not passing judgment, but they believe that if they pray hard enough, there is hope. There is hope. And with hope goes resistance. And with resistance, this is what the government wants to cut off merely directly. They don't want to have any means. They do not want you to have any means to resist this new world order that they are actually creating. Class warfare. Notice I didn't say racial warfare. In other words, I didn't say white against black, black against Hispanic. I didn't say none of that. This is class warfare. This is totally different. This is the have and the have-nots. This is making the have-nots fight each other for the scraps of the table by the elite, by the individuals who provide all these products or provide for you to actually make a living, who provide all these things, the welfare, all this other thing. They provide this and they keep the pot stirred up because we're distracted. We're fighting each other in the same class, and we're not really understanding who our real enemy is. This seems to be a growing tactic. Thank you, Scott. This seems to be a tactic that we haven't really understood, that we put all these things together, that guess what? It's coming for, they're coming for us. But we have a distraction. No, well, it's white against black, it's black. It's not. It's about the have and the have-nots, and the haves keeping us in turmoil, keeping us distracted from what really is going on and what their current actions are. Today, we have a saga in Michael Flynn and his conviction or his trial or whatever. There's there's doubts, there's documents showing up, there's things or whatever. The DOJ's involved, saying he never should. Okay, we've heard this before. Here's my question. After all these individuals for 10, 15 years that we have identified, you can go through and pick them out. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, everybody. But all this scandals and all these, do you think maybe we could get one person? Do you think maybe we might indict one person? Do you think maybe they could go to trial? It has not happened. What has happened is that the mainstream media has produced all this information saying, you know what, well, we've got the documents, but nothing's going to happen. So we actually distract you from what's really going on. This is another distraction. I don't care if Michael Flynn gets off or on whatever. He lied to Congress. He did. But whenever you're facing bankruptcy and you're facing all this crap, this is a prime example, because the fact is they ruined this man. Whether he spent one day in jail, they ruined him. He is bankrupt. He's lost his house. He's lost everything that he owns, just because the fact is that he was a target of individuals who needed to take him down. These are the methods that they will use against you if you stand up. My question still remains, for all the emails, for all this kind of crap or whatever, can we just get one person? We run on the truth. We run on the idea or the hope, which goes back to our religion, that, you know what, please, God, send us somebody who can fix this. Please send somebody we can actually see what's going on. Please send us somebody with common sense to actually represent us in Congress and our presidency and our Supreme Court. We've asked this. This is where we need to actually start our prayers to. But no, what the issue is that we have an existing government right now that has promised to do these things. We're going to drain the swamp. Not one person. Not one person. We're going to build a wall. All these things that are promised to us are political ploys that they actually utilize to actually tell you what you want to hear instead of what they want to do. And we see this, it's rampant all across politics today. With this in mind, we still keep hoping, we still keep reaching for that brass ring. It's just, we almost had it. And we continue to ride this merry-go-round because the fact is that we have hope that something else is going to get better, and it's not. And when it starts going sideways or downhill like we see right now, we don't want to admit it. As I stated earlier, we want to sit back and say, oh, well, it's never going to happen here. But it is. One of my most favorite quotes is whenever there's something happens in the world that with law enforcement or whatever, well, people will say, well, they can't do that. Okay. Here's my response to that. They are. Well, that's illegal. They're getting away with it because government has got their back. The next phase in this endeavor is going to be our law enforcement officers. We're already starting to see it happen. We're starting to see law enforcement officers standing up and say, you know what? I'm not doing this shit anymore. I'm not going to take the rights away from people. I'm not going to take the rights away from hardworking citizens. I'm not on stupid freaking laws. We've had a couple of officers who we know of today that has actually been fired or on leave or actually got reprimanded or in trouble with their police departments. We've only heard of about 2, but guess what? What about the ones we don't hear about? And how about the ones that the officers who have to go to work every day and they're like, I got to do this shit again. It's like, God dang. Pretty soon they've had enough of it because they realize that they've actually got to live in that community as well. So you're going to see a lot of individual law enforcement officers coming out and saying and exposing the fact is this. They are no longer working for our Constitution. They are working for their boss, which is elected officials who are over them, who tell them do what we say you do. I don't care about the law. I don't care about the Constitution. You do as we do as you're told. Or guess what? We're taking away your paycheck. You're going to take away your pension. Your little girl or boy that you thought you're going to send to college, you ain't going to have the money. Forcing a law enforcement officer to make a decision. When an average person is actually confronted with these type of decisions, the American people always come down this, well, shit, I got to go to work. I got to go to work. I got, because we are a progressive people. We want to give our generation what we didn't have in our generation. This is the way it's always been. And when threatened by a government saying they're not going to allow you to do so, and that you're going to have to depend on them for your child's education, they have just taken over your entire family. They call the shots now. You don't. We see this happening now because you can still go to Walmart. You can still go to Lowe's. You can still go to Home Depot. You can still go to these big chains. However, you cannot go to mom and pop businesses that are opened up, your local hardware stores, your salons, but you can't go there. They mandate you can't go there. Yeah, it's against the law, but guess what? They're doing it. So who is it actually hurting? It's hurting small business. Small business is competition for the individuals who are actually making mom and pop. I give you an example. I got a hardware store right here at Boots. I can run up 5 minutes. I'm at Boots. I can go look. I can browse. I can do whatever I want to do, and I can get stuff that I need. Not everything, but most of the plumbing, all the issues that I need to have around the house. If not, I go. If it's not there, then I go to Walmart. I don't go to Walmart first. But they want to ruin Boots, take it out of the equation where I have no choice. I have to go to Walmart. I have to go. to Brookshire Brothers. I have to go to Home Depot and Lowe's to get my necessary items for me to survive. This is a part of the major plan, and it's happening right in front of us. But yet we won't admit it. There are many people who are struggling to get on that boat of the haves. They don't want to cause any waves. They don't want to say anything because they're still hoping and praying that I'll be a part of them. And those scurvy knaves, I can look down on them. There's going to be a cutoff line. Where the cutoff line is, it's going to start at law enforcement. It's going to start at law enforcement. Then it's going to start at the city level. Then it's going to start at the county level. It's going to keep inching up till pretty soon. The only people who are actually in the ruling party are going to be our governors. Let me explain how that works a little bit. Every state is reliant on government for funding for certain items. This is where they get their money. It's another place where the government gives them money. And guess what? If they appear to some goals, let me give you an example. DUIs, DWIs, however you want to call it, when you're driving under the influence, okay? Your state has a quota to meet every year to receive this much funding. If they achieve this, they get another. They get a more amount of money. They get more money. The more they rank, the more they get. This is why DUI is actually a big deal between law enforcement, cities, and counties, because the fact is, it's not the fact is that we're killing each other on the highway. Where the fact is that it's a viable option to where we're getting funding from our government. How many other laws are we made to enforce? Because the fact is we get money from our government for that. These national laws, they affect every portion, every state function. Go to a city council meeting, go to a county commissioners meeting, go to these meetings, and guess what you'll hear? Well, are we going to get reimbursed anything from the federal government? We're going to get reimbursed if we do this. We're going to get. They're saying it right there. In other words, they're saying, well, can we do it and then our government pay for it? That's where they get you. It's all money driven. It is all status driven. It is all elite driven. It is all meaning to have you do one thing: get your ass up, go to work, pay your taxes, and continually do this day in, day in, day in, day in, day in. At one point, sometime, somebody's going to have to realize I'm a freaking slave. Call it what you want, but look up the definition. This is what I am. I thoroughly exist to actually my production goes toward benefiting a government who decides how much money I can make. And then guess what? I get to keep, they take 32, 35, sometimes up to some points, 42% of my paycheck. And I'm supposed to be happy. Meanwhile, I can't even afford to buy a damn quarter. I can't even afford a gallon of milk. I have to budget. My wife and I have to budget to be able to. This is where all these issues come into play, because when you add them all up and you see these things that they're actually proposing or they're actually doing to us, you wonder, hell, am I ever going to get out from underneath the bus? We see in Michigan, we see in Pennsylvania, we see across the country, we see individuals that are standing up. In Michigan, they actually took over the state capitol building with arms, armed individuals. Pennsylvania, they're out protesting and doing the same thing because they want to open up the government, because people are realizing, damn it, we've got to open up. It doesn't matter how bad this virus is. We're going to destroy ourselves economically. Mom and pop businesses, we're going to destroy ourselves economically. We're going to go out of business. We're still going to own all these loans. And every job that I take after this, my money will be garnished by the government to pay back this loan. Everywhere that I turn, I will have to be responsible for this money that they're actually telling me that it's actually free, but it's not. For those of you who chose mom and pop business who chose to take this money, guess what? Did you read the fine print? Because when you pay it back, it's not going to be 0%. They're going to charge you 7, 10, 14%, whatever they can get away with, depending upon how bad you actually need it and how bad Say, for example, your credit score. You got to open new business. You only been in business for a year. Guess what? You're going to get this money, but guess what? You're going to pay a higher interest rate. Why? Because you're a bigger risk. Today, we have militias forming all around the country. We have militias that are forming up, and they're actually determining what their spot is, what their place is, and where they can actually fit in. A good friend of mine, Sean, told me, so I can't. Me and my group, we can't play whack-a-mole. We can't just go to this one. We can't. So now is the time about thinking about protecting your own individual counties and cities, because the fact is if, say, for example, I go over and I help somebody in Dallas or somewhere over here, guess what? There's nobody protecting here, while injustices are being done to the American people, and our Constitution is being broken. We have judges now that are enforcing these laws and actually sentencing individuals based on bullshit laws, which are ordinances which cannot and should not and will not be tolerated by the American people, to go against our constitutional rights. But we're doing it, and we're seeing it being done. This is not a call to action. That call has already been put out. This is not a call for people to pay attention. That call has already been put out. The call here is this, is that we need to recognize and admit what's going on, and then figure out, in our group of people, what's the best way that we handle it. How do we collectively say no? Some people, it may be picking up an AR-15 and go standing in line and actually standing there staring them down. Excuse me. For some people, it's actually picking up a flag, picking up a flag, having speeches, having individuals exercising their First Amendment. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you're good at, you need to actually start standing up and say, I want to be one of the few that recognize this, and I want to do something to change it. And I know the risks are out there. There will be gaslighting, character assassination. There will be people who tell you they won't put you in jail. There will be, yes, there will be. But we as Americans, which is what separates Americans from the rest of the world, because we are willing to take that bet. We are willing to say, you know what? Enough's enough. You're overstepping your bounds, government. You're way out of line here, and you're holding me accountable for opening up my business when you said I couldn't. But meanwhile, you cannot even get convictions on people who have committed serious crimes and misdemeanors against our country. So, my word, shut up. But our elite, if you cannot see the difference between the elite system and the elite and the haves and the have-nots, it's time you take a look around, because look at who's it affecting. Who are these decisions affecting the most? And it's us. We're the ones who are having to pay the price. Every day you see $1 trillion are actually put into the bank, from the Fed helping. We're going to pay for that. We're going to pay for it with interest. We are already working on generations of individuals who are already being set up in their taxes that are actually going to be paying for this money. That's just the way it is. There's no blame, because everyone wanted. The American people are a very passive organization. I mean, people. We'll take so much. Okay, yeah, all right. That's not really right, but we'll take a little bit of whatever. We'll give benefit of the doubt or whatever. That time needs to stop. We cannot give the government the benefit of the doubt. We cannot trust our government. When our government is pulling these issues on us, we see the method to their madness, and we got to stop it somewhere. We've got to say, hey, I know what you're doing. Because this will actually create a wave of individuals who are actually starting to look at the same way. I do not care if you have a militia, or if you have some kind of 3% group or whatever, how your individuals handle it. That's your business. That is your business. Many people are on this fence because, okay, do I join a militia? Is that the way I need to do it? Or can I do it? Is there another way to do it, or whatever? I'm telling you, everybody, there's other ways to do things that you can contribute to these movements, these militias. You contribute to these militias. You can offer support. You can actually offer intel. You can actually tell these people that, you know what, I'm over here, but I'm telling you what's going on. I'm over here doing my part where I have what I can do, and everybody will respect that. But we have to understand that we are at war with our government, whether we fired a shot or not. They are actually waging war on our livelihoods and our rights. And the time has come to say, well, they can't do that here, it's against law or whatever. There is a stack of cases in court systems right now that will take years to be heard. And they do it on purpose. Delay, deny, and they hope you die before the fact is they have to hear this case. Meantime, you've already put out of pocket. You're out of pocket for lawyers, fees, and all this kind of crap. And they'll break you because you cannot stand yourself to go into more poverty. You cannot have any more debt. And you cannot fight for your gun control rights, because the fact is that this is how they break you. So leave no doubt, we are at war with our government. Not a physical, not a knockdown, drag out, not a shooting or whatever. What we are is that we are having to react to the decisions that are made in Washington and beyond, and we have no say so in it. We have no way to actually stand up to these individuals because they will utilize all these tools against us, and pretty soon they'll break you. This is why it's imperative for people to come together as a group to help each out during these hard times, help them weather the storm. Instead of saying, well, I'm glad it happened to them and not to me. Guess what? When you say that, glad it happened to them and not me, guess what? That means you're next. And don't think they won't come knocking on your door, because they will. You are right now expendable. You are expendable because you can be replaced. You can be replaced by the number of immigrants that are coming across our border illegally and legally. You are being replaced. You have in our house, you have individuals who are Muslim who have sworn an oath on the Quran in their room, before Congress, saying, I want to kill the infidel. That's why I'm swearing on the Quran. I'm swearing on the Quran because I don't accept your laws. And we're allowing it to happen. We're in for a long, hard road. There's going to be many individuals that go bankrupt. There's many people that are actually going to be homeless. There are going to be many people who actually have said, "This, I'm glad it's not happening to me. It can't happen here," that it's going to happen to, and they're going to be walking around in shock saying, "I did not think so." And this is what we have in America today: is a bunch more individuals walking around saying, "Damn, they're doing it." We have to find a way to collectively fight back, hit them where it hurts. By any means necessary, we need to get our freedom back. You guys be good. Thank you, Scott, for joining in. Scott, please like and share. I just want to get the message across to as many people. And thank you, brother. But anyway, anybody who sees this or whatever, please give me a comment. Please tell me what you think. This is my world as I see it, and it's not looking good for the home team. You guys be good. Keep powder dry. Keep your head on a swivel. Watch them. Be prepared. I'm out.